How to avoid the holiday spending and overcommitment hangover. I've learned a few tips and tricks over the years that I wanted to share with you today. The first thing is the importance of planning. When it comes to the holidays, especially the December winter holidays, Hanukkah, Christmas, and New Year's, it tends to get busy, very demanding, and overwhelming, even though you've probably been doing it every year. I've learned to create a plan, a budget, and a list. So the first thing that I look at is, who am I buying for? And I make a list of all the people that I buy for, and then a spending plan for each person. After that, I jot down ideas that I think will work. And in particular, if it's somebody that you buy for every single year, maybe there's something that you tend to do that works, and I'll get into that in a second. But the most important thing is to have a dollar figure in mind of what you would like to spend. Then look at it and ask yourself, do I really need to buy all of these gifts? Is there a way of cutting back if that's what you choose to do? So in my family, for example, we have a really big extended family. It was ridiculous trying to buy for everyone. So what we decided to do is to come up with a grab so that everybody got one gift, and that was from one of their aunts and uncles. And that worked out much better. The next thing, after you get through with your gift spending guide, come up with a list of what you'd like to buy for them. Over the years, I've thought of certain things that have really worked well. So in particular, for my grandchildren, I have certain things that I like to get. I might like to get them pajamas, maybe an outfit, something to that idea. And I look at, what did I do last year that seemed to work really well? What kind of things are they interested in this year? And then go based on that information. And for my children, I do the same. I do ask, is there anything in particular you want or need? And if there is something on their list that works for what I'm trying to do, then I go with that. Otherwise, I basically do what I've done in the past. Now, one area that's a real challenge is buying for the elderly. I'm not just talking about people that are in their 90s. I'm talking about people that are probably over the age of 70. Most people in that age bracket don't need another doodad. They don't even want another doodad. They don't need or want anything that needs to be stored, put away, or figured out. What do they want? Things that are consumable, things that they're going to use and that they would go out and buy on their own. So one thing I used to do for my grandparents and my in-laws is I would get them a roll of stamps. Today, a roll of stamp, I think it's like $60. They would be beyond thrilled because this is something they would have bought anyways. They know they're going to use it. And of course, obviously, it takes up very little room. So I would get them things like that. My mother-in-law was a great one for writing notes. So I would get her some really nice note cards. I knew she would like them, and she probably wouldn't spend the money on it herself. So she always appreciated that. One thing they really need is time. And what I mean is your time. They may need help with a project at home. My kids, when their grandparents were alive, and of course they never knew what to get them for Christmas when they were earning their own money and they wanted to acknowledge their grandparents, is they would volunteer to do some sort of household task. So one of my sons would go to both grandparents' houses and he would wash their windows, and that was his Christmas gift to them. And my other son would mow the lawn. So between the two of them, they would take care of certain household tasks that their grandparents couldn't do on their own because they didn't have the physical ability anymore, or they would have to hire someone. So this saved them money by having their grandkids do it. Plus it gave them time with the grandkids, which was always a nice little bonus. So think of things that an older person could really use help with that they might not want to ask for, and then volunteer or hire someone for them that can get that job done. Another idea is to create experiences. I love and appreciate is time with the family. invite us over for dinner that you prepare yourself. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't even have to be a restaurant. But just planning an activity that we're included in and make memories. And those are things that I cherish, and those are things that I always appreciate. So I'm sure there's a lot of others out there that are just like me that would appreciate those kind of things. So it makes gift giving very easy when it comes down to creating an experience with someone. Now, when we think about our holiday spending, we talked about gifts. We tend to forget the wrapping paper, Christmas cards, the food, if you're having a party, the cost of hosting. Those types of things do eat into your budget, so it's important to include those in your list of spending and having a number that is realistic. And the more that you can plan and have this information ahead of time, it avoids a lot of last minute things, which not only become costly because it seems like certain items, the price goes up the closer you get to the holidays, but also it makes for a lot of stress when you seem like you're running around with like a chicken without a head at the last minute trying to do these things. One little trick that I learned is make online shopping your friend. If you're going with an online store, you want to make sure they have a really good return policy. I'll pick things out and I'll put them in my shopping cart. Sometimes the stores will suddenly come up with a deal. Oh, I noticed such and such is in your shopping cart. Here's a coupon for 15% off. That happens a lot, probably more frequently than you realize. So as long as you're not butting up against a deadline where you have to have the item like that minute, if you have time, try that. You've got nothing to lose. The other thing is you can comparison shop in your pajamas. So you can have several websites pulled up, look for the item, and if it's the exact same item, can you find a better price somewhere else? It's a real easy way, and then search and see who's going to give you the best deal. Those little tricks have helped me quite a bit. When it comes to the holidays, is who does what. It tends to become really stressful when you're doing everything yourself. If there's at all possible for you to delegate, then do so. Think about the things that only you can do, but then think about the things that you could delegate. Maybe you could have somebody else write out your Christmas cards. There are even services that do that. So you could have a service. If you order your cards, it's a little pricey, it depends on your budget, but you could have your cards printed, signed, and addressed and mailed, all by a service. No, the signing, it's not very personal, but it depends on your time and how important it is for you to send out Christmas cards. Is there somebody else who can wrap gifts? When you purchase things in the store, do they have a gift wrapping service? So that not everything has to be done by you, and anything that can possibly be delegated, delegate it. Make your life a little easier. The next point is commitment. We have a habit of not being able to say no when it comes to the holidays. That just seems to be the nature of the beast. And the more that we say yes and then overextend ourselves and overcommit, the more stress we put on ourselves. So really think about the invitations that you're getting and how important are they to you? How important is it for you to attend? And if it's really not that important, then don't be afraid to say no. Because the bottom line is you want to enjoy the season, you want to enjoy your loved ones, and if you're overwrought because of overcommitments, you end up with that holiday spending and overcommitment hangover that you really don't want. So just a few little tips for you. I hope this helps you appreciate and enjoy the holidays more. And if you found this helpful, please leave a like down below. But also, I have a little gift for you, and I have the link down below. It's something I created that's called the Holiday Planner and Journal. Very simple, and it gives you a framework for creating a stress-free holiday and a spending plan that's going to work for your wallet. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this.